Guys, what is happening in Somali's community? What is going on? Because I've been seeing a lot of videos on TikTok, people talking about, ICE agents arresting some of them. Now, this is making headlines and a lot of people are reacting to this. Stay with me. I have put some videos together. Stay with me. Let's check these videos out.
There is a major ICE operation happening in Minnesota right now, targeting Somali immigrants. And as somebody who was raised in Minnesota, I need people to understand something. Minnesota loves its Somali community. They are a core part of the state. And a lot of people being taken right now are here legally. Federal officials are launching a large enforcement action focused almost entirely on Somali neighborhoods in Minneapolis and St. Paul. They're sending strike teams, and local leaders are warning that this could sweep up legal residents, asylum holders, and people with active appeals, and families who have been here for decades. And here's why that hits so hard. Most Somali Minnesotans came here legally in the 1990s and early 2000s after Somalia collapsed into civil war and famine. The United States brought them here through humanitarian programs. They followed the rules, and they started over from nothing. And Minnesota welcomed them. I saw it growing up. Somali families opened restaurants, markets, transportation companies, grocery stores, and small businesses that helped entire neighborhoods come alive. They work in healthcare, manufacturing, logistics, and food service. They naturalize at high rates. They vote, they volunteer, they raise strong families. They make Minnesota better in every possible way. And that's why this operation feels so wrong. ICE isn't targeting dangerous people. They're sweeping up community members who are peaceful, hardworking, and in many cases completely legal. People who have been part of this state for 20 or 30 years. This isn't about public safety. This is a political scare tactic aimed at an entire ethnic group that Minnesota depends on every single day. Minnesota's Somali community came here legally, rebuilt their lives, and helped build the state I grew up in. And now a federal operation is targeting people who have every right to be here. And that's the real story. If you enjoyed this, make sure you follow me so you can get more stories like this that you won't see on the news.
I live in Minneapolis. I've had Somali doctors, nurses, servers, Uber drivers. There are students here. I've shopped next to Somali families at the Mall of America. There's an indoor soccer place near me where Somalis frequently play while their partners and their kids sit at tables and do homework, or read a book, or look at TikTok. There are about 60,000 Somalis in the state of Minnesota out of 6 million people, and about 500 of them are under temporary protected status. The rest are legalized residents or naturalized citizens. There are not roaming gangs of Somalis on the streets. There's not a Somali takeover, and 80% of crime here is not caused by Somalis. Shame on Tom Emmer for telling such a dangerous lie, and shame on President Trump for using the alleged actions of a small number of people to demonize an entire group of my fellow Minnesotans.
Hi, so I just really want to make this video from a human space. This is something I've been really meaning to say, and I'm so glad that I can finally articulate it to you guys. So I'm Somali. I grew up in Minnetonka. I've been raised here my entire life. I am born here and I've lived here. I've studied here. I'm a pre-med. I do research, and that's usually the type of stuff I talk about on my page. But right now I feel like it's really important for me to say this. What I'm going to say is that I have been getting so many messages telling me to go back to your country, go back to your country. But the reality of the situation is the United States is the only country I've ever known my entire life. And the thing is, the great irony of it all is I'm not the ambassador of Somalia. I don't speak for Somali people. I'm not a spokesperson for this community. I'm just one young person trying to study, navigate life, and live like any other 20-something-year-old living here in this state. And so something that I feel like is going on is that there's a lot of immigrant people and first-gen, second-gen kids like me with this weight on our shoulders trying to explain everything going on in our communities, trying to defend our communities. But I'm really no different from any other 20-something-year-old trying to make it here in this state, in this country, in this world. And so I'm sharing this because I really feel like a lot of us are being treated this way and dealing with this quietly. But the reality is we aren't symbols. We aren't some type of ambassador. We are just human beings like everybody else.
My Somali students are not a problem. Racism is a problem. And my Somali friends are not a problem. Islamophobia is a problem. My Somali neighbors are not a problem. The intersection of white supremacy and capitalism is a problem. The president's rhetoric about Somali people is false, disgusting, divisive, racist, Islamophobic. The list goes on and on. The point of these raids in Minneapolis is to harass and terrorize Black people and Muslim people. That's it. That's the entire point, right? There is no reason to be going after the entire Somali community. It has to be about Ilhan Omar. I think it has to be, because she's effective, she's genuine, she has the support and love of her constituents, and the Trump regime just can't stand that. Never mind the fact that she's never taken a cent of Israeli money, and that she was an adamantly against the genocide in Palestine from the very beginning. Ooh!
So Somalians are trying to drag Black Americans into their fight. Check this out.
But Trump based his order on a report whose author has made it clear that his goal is to denationalize and deport as many Somali Americans as possible. This is not about crime. It's not about safety. This is about purging people like me from this country. Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for people fleeing a home country that is blasted by war, poverty, and hunger. Europeans in the 19th and 20th century, Black Americans from the South, Hmong.
That was a call for allyship, and they threw the race card out there. We're all Black. What happened to I'm not Black, I'm Somalian? And what happened to the call of allyship when y'all was scamming Minnesota out of hundreds of millions of dollars? They only pull out the race card when it's beneficial to them, because before this, they'll tell you, you're jealous because Somalians are driving Priuses. And there's no allyship when they taking advantage of all these government assistance programs, HUD, public housing. They're not going to let you in their building that they're in. And these are the same people that will tell you, if you Black American Somalians will say, hey, my people came over here in planes and your people came over here in shackles and chains. Keep that same energy. I respect that. Since me and my peoples came over here in shackles and chains in a ship, I'm porting my ship right here. This is where I'm going to port my ship. Don't use Black as a race card. Don't use Black when it's beneficial. Keep that same energy. You not Black, you Somalians. You not Black, you Nigerians. Keep that same energy. Because when it's time to benefit off these government programs, like housing, all that stuff, they lock other people out. They don't care about nobody else but their own people. So why you yelling allyship now?
And now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at, I hear they ripped off Somalians. Ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care.
Why did I see a tweet today talking about the fact that Trump is targeting Somali people in Minnesota is going to put Black Americans at risk? I don't think so. I think that Black Americans and Somali people don't look anything alike, first of all. Second of all, they don't even consider themselves Black.
We are Somalis, not Black. There, I said it.
Somalis are not Black. Let me explain why. Looking at me right now, chat, am I Black? I'm literally brown. I'm literally brown, bro. Think about it as well. Somalis are Arabs. We're in the Arab leagues. We speak the Arab language. We eat the Arab food. Bro, think about it like this, bro. If a whole community doesn't regard themselves as Black, we can't be Black, bro.
Somalis are not Black. Now, before you disagree with me, I just want to say, listen, right? There's no such thing as the term Black. The term Black only came about in colonization. I don't have to accept that, Sahib. That's why the other day when I was in a place, someone said to me, are you Black? I said, I'm not Black, Sahib. I don't accept that term.
Somalis are not Black. There's a difference between African and Black.
You think that a person, any person, can't tell the difference between a Black American and a Somali person? I don't think so. I think that you can tell the difference between a Somali person and a Black American person. Like, I really do. And I'm just saying.
A lot of white nationalists are really upset about Somali immigration to Minnesota for some reason. But the thing is, Minnesota is the homeland of the Somali people, and it was promised to us 3,000 years ago. In fact, one of the founding documents of the state of Minnesota is literally codifying into law that Somali people have self-determination on that land. As it states very plainly in the basic law in Minnesota, the land of Minnesota is the historical homeland of the Somali people, in which the state of Minnesota was established. The state of Minnesota is the home of the Somali people, in which it fulfills its natural, cultural, religious, and historical right to self-determination. The right to exercise self-determination in the state of Minnesota is unique to the Somali people. The state views the development of Somali settlement as a national value and will act to encourage and promote its establishment and consolidation. So that's the end of the debate. The only people who have the right to self-determination in Minnesota are Somalis. Somalis have a cultural tie to the land. It was promised to us 3,000 years ago, and we have the right to go back to our homeland. If anybody wants to help me pay for Aliyah to my homeland, please help me out.
Everyone has an opinion, so here's mine. In the state of Minnesota, they are home to the largest Somali population in the United States of America, with many of the Somalis arriving in Minnesota as early as the 1990s as refugees. Now, we have gotten to see their impact on our society. And let's just say, it's time to go. I hope President Trump sends the National Guard to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they actively remove every single one of you bastards. Listen, y'all talking about a land that was promised to you 3,000 years ago? From who? The United States of America and Minnesota did not exist 3,000 years ago. So what the fuck are you talking about? How could something be promised to you that wasn't in existence? That's a lie from the pits of hell. You people can commit atrocities. You're dirty, you're filthy, and I'm not saying all, but you don't represent the best. And we can just go back and look at Somalia, the country, and the shithole that your country is. And I guess we're supposed to feel bad for you as American citizens because we have it so good. But then y'all get over here and you take advantage of our resources and you send it back to Somalia. Then you want to come over here and you want to turn America into Somalia. Absolutely not. Minnesota, what the fuck were you thinking? This is what happens when you have liberals in charge. When you have bozos like Tim Walz in charge. This type of shit should have never been allowed to happen. Then look at what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan right now. That town is completely unrecognizable. We're not a Muslim nation. We are a Christian nation. What are you talking about? Sharia law? Are you nuts? These people need to leave, bro. I'm sorry. All of that tugging on your heartstrings, and these are refugees and they had it so bad in their country. Their country is a fucking shithole, hence why they left in the first place. Now you want to come over here and turn our country into your country? Absolutely not. You're not coming over here. You're not going to take over. Every single one of my red-blooded American patriots, we need to stand up and unite. Forget all that black versus white bullshit, all of that brown versus black bullshit. At the end of the day, this is our land, not theirs. Take your ass back to the motherland. We're tired of that shit. We don't feel sorry for you. I hope Trump removes every single one of y'all. All of y'all need to go. At this point, enough is enough. We are tired of seeing our American cities being turned into foreign countries. There should be no place in America where I go and not be able to feel like I'm in America. This isn't your country, it's ours. But it's just my opinion, though.
Let's talk about why Somalis say, oh no, we're not black. As a Somali who does claim her blackness, I want to explain this with love. Because that statement comes from history, survival, and sometimes pain. First, Somalia isn't a part of the Western world. In Somalia, a deeply homogenous community, there's no reason to say you're black. Everyone looks like you. For example, like Nigeria, people identify by tribe or nation, not race. Race, as a qualifier especially, only becomes relevant to most Africans when they leave their country and step into a world that sees them through that lens. During colonization, Europeans didn't just divide our land, they divided our identities. Somalis were mistakenly told, ooh, you look different. You're closer to Arab. You're better. Those lies that were told by whiteness seeded the anti-blackness that still lingers today. And because Somalia was not colonized in the exact same way as other African countries, many Somalis grew up thinking that blackness was synonymous with oppression, something to escape, not embrace. But Western propaganda is global, honey. So in the same way that they show African Americans or all Americans in general that Africans are barbaric and starving, they show African Americans to the rest of the world as lazy thugs who are not to be trusted, violent. Many Somalis arrive here as refugees and want to rebuild their lives and think, if I distance myself from this label, maybe I'll be safe. There's still no excuse. My own mother, who struggles with anti-blackness and hates my dark skin, would always tell me, don't be a yo-yo, don't be a yo-yo. It's pure ignorance, but it stems from fear and lies. Here's the truth. African Americans are the moral backbone of this country. Every right, every protection, every piece of good experience that you are having in America was built through their blood, sweat, and tears. Their resistance, their strategic organizing, their sacrifice, it's the only reason why we have a foothold here today. And as much as Somalis want to say, oh, why do you care about black issues? It's because I'm in gratitude and they deserve reverence and solidarity, not distance and disdain. So if you hear a Somali say, I'm not black, I'm not black, I'm not black. So embarrassing. Don't get offended. Pray for them. They're wrestling with a lie that's literally older than them. A lie that was designed to keep us divided. And remember, no matter how lost we are or how far we run, we're still all one.
So facts are coming out now that Minnesota was promised to the Somalis. And that was 3,000 years ago. Those are facts. Facts don't care about your feelings. Debate a wall. It doesn't matter to us. But one of the things that many people don't know is that the name of the lake that is so-called Lake Calhoun or Bede Makaska is actually derivative of a Somali phrase, which is Bade Makasikahay, which means Badeda, my body of water, Makasikahay, I will never move away from there. Maka, which means not, Siko, which means to scooch or move, Makasikahay, Badeda Kamasikanayawai, Badeda Makadakakayo. That's my body of water. And this shows you that Somalis have been long ingrained in that land as is promised to us 3,000 years ago.
Those who bless the Somalis will be blessed, and those who curse the Somalis will be cursed, according to Genesis 42. You know, Minnesota was promised for the Somalis 4,000 years ago. This picture is clearly proof. These are the founding fathers of Minnesota. His name is Abdullah Muhammad Washington. You know, you can't tell it. It's not edited. You can argue with the wall and say, what are these Somalis saying? But that's the truth. Minnesota belongs to the Somalis. It's a promised holy land for them. This picture you see right now, his name is Abdi Farah. He was welcomed by the natives. They ate dinner and everything together. They had something called a Minnesota Tea Party. You know what lie I'm telling you right now, you know what I'm telling you right now, Minnesota is a holy land for the Somalis. That's that. It was promised for them 3,000 years ago.
Somalis don't belong in the United States is a stupid thing to say that a lot of loud dummies are being loud and dumb about right now. Welcome back to the Under Report, where we share hot national security goss, and I'm particularly annoyed about this dog whistle regarding Somalis because unlike the real Americans who are yelling about it, I've actually spent time in this country before. In 2017, I was writing a book about unrecognized countries, which is what brought me to the Horn of Africa in the first place. That's a picture of the back of my head. This is a picture of me with the vice president of Somaliland. I'm the one in the white shirt, in case you can't tell. While I was there, I was coordinating and delivering 7 tons of food to nomads who were affected by Cyclone Sagar. And while I was doing that, I was fortunate enough to learn a good deal about the Horn of Africa. And to understand modern Somalia, you have to understand this guy. His name is Said Barre. Said Barre was a brutal dictator who wanted to combine the best ideas from Marxism and the best ideas from Sharia law into a system that he called scientific socialism. But instead of creating a socialist paradise, he in fact used the power of the office to enrich himself and his clan, as well as cracking down violently on anybody who he considered to be an enemy of the state. He also loved disco. Anyway, back to Said Barre. So, he was originally on the side of the USSR, but the United States hated it when the USSR started making friends in Africa because we just had to stop communism no matter what, so we decided to become friends with Said Barre. But wasn't he a violent dictator? Yeah, he was. But do you think that matters? No. We didn't necessarily care how he got the Horn of Africa stable. We just wanted it stable. do all the ethnic cleansing that you want, just keep things quiet, keep trading with us, and don't make it our problem. Shockingly, this did not work out so well. In 1992, the country descended into one of the world's bloodiest civil wars and most devastating famines. In 1992, then Republican President George H.W. Bush launched Operation Restore Hope alongside the United Nations. The goal of this was to secure humanitarian aid while also alleviating Somalia of the refugee population. It brought enormous amounts of food into an area that was rocked by civil war. Somali refugees were resettled in areas like Georgia, Texas, and especially Minneapolis, where there was a large manufacturing sector which needed additional laborers. Currently, the epicenter of the Somali diaspora is in St. Paul, Minnesota, which is why it has become such a hotspot of political conflict in the recent years. So let's look at the scorecard here. In order to deny the USSR operational space in Africa, the US supported a brutal dictator in Somalia. When his regime became far too repressive, a civil war and an ethnic cleansing started. Then a Republican president decided not only to give aid to the country, but to also work to resettle refugees in the United States where they were needed. People are making bad faith arguments about the Somali population because it suits their political purposes. The fact of the matter is, the largest majority of Somalis were brought to the United States by the United States for the United States. Nobody is walking from there to Minnesota. It's there. It's on a different continent. There is an astounding amount of arrogance and ignorance that goes into stating that Somalis don't belong in America. There are few things more American than fleeing the tyranny of your homeland for a better life. Subscribe and share the Under Report.
You mean to tell me not only did the Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan support Wigs R Us, but the Somalians in Minneapolis, Minnesota supported Wigs R Us? And now he is saying that y'all have stolen billions from the fucking United States and from American citizens, and that the mayor of Minneapolis should be disappointed and should not be happy with having y'all in their fucking city. And now they've removed the protections for y'all so y'all could be deported. Even though we know a lot of y'all are U.S. citizens, the fact that he said he's removing protections from y'all so y'all can go ahead and see ice, baby, boom, doom, doom. When y'all gonna start listening to black folks? That's my fucking question. Because I know y'all come to this fucking country and y'all are told that black people are the most laziest people in the fucking world. Even though y'all don't do no fucking studying, y'all have no idea who the fuck we really are. Why the fuck would y'all come to a country and listen to white folks and not listen to people who actually look like you? I'll wait. Because we told y'all, dumbasses. We told y'all. I'm telling you, I'm going to say this again. Anytime a white person tries to come between people of color, there's always an agenda. And for the Somalian people in Minneapolis, Minnesota, you about to find out that fucking agenda, okay? You are about to be the next. Come on down. It is time for you to get your ride on the ICE train. This shit has got to be studied. Like, honestly, I feel like they don't learn no fucking history when they get here. You forget you look like me. We could be twinning them. They don't like y'all either, but they damn sure will take your vote.
So beside me are some screenshots of comments I randomly grabbed so you guys can see what other people said. You can pause to read them if you want to. So I saw a lot of videos, on TikTok. People are reacting to this situation, obviously. Now, some of them are not happy with ICE agents. They are speaking up for them, some of them. But the thing is this. Some of you, in your videos, which we have seen on TikTok, says y'all are not black. And on the other hand, some other people are in support of what President Donald Trump is doing to the Somalis. And they are in the comment section asking them to go home. Now, take a look at this screenshot right here. You could see Donald Trump. I don't know if you all have seen this clip right here, but that's what he said. I'm going to roll the clip. Check it out.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other. And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
Obviously, that clip that we just watched did not sit well with a lot of people. Now, you can see this comment beside me. Pause to read, guys. People are not happy with what President Donald Trump said. In the comment section of that video, you could see comments from white people obviously saying that they don't want them either. They are like in the comment section chanting and saying that they should go, they should leave their country. You know, I'm not surprised seeing this comment. And now, on the other hand, they are trying to bring black people into this. I don't know why. Why? Like, why? Why? It just doesn't make sense. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you all think in the comment section. And thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget to like this video, share, comment, and of course, come back for another one. I'm gonna see y'all in my next video. Y'all have a sweet day. Take care. Bye.